No, this is Carlos again. I was continue the second part of the institution on institution pharmacy practice sites, Board of Pharmacy rules. So we start from 114411. Take home and leave of absence drugs, devices, and related materials. All prescription drug prescribed for and dispensed to patients who are on leave of absence from institutional facility must be dispensed in accordance with institutional policy and procedures. All prescription drugs prescribed for and dispensed to patients who are being discharged from institutional facility must be dispensed with a labeling in accordance with 114306. Pharmacy in charge in accordance in coordination with the medical and nursing staff committee of the facility shall establish policy and procedures to assure that this process meets state and federal guidelines appropriate for the facility. Our request, excuse me, the board may waive selected portion of this requirement so long as the waiver granted is consistent with the board authority under the Tennessee Code annotated. 11.4.12, drugs brought into the facility. It's like patient bring their own drugs to the facility, so that's an important section here. The pharmacy in charge shall establish policy to control any drugs brought into the facility, institutional facility. The administration of these drugs shall be pursuant to a medical prescription order, only to a prescription order, and drugs brought into the facility shall not be administered until properly identified. So it has to go to the pharmacy, they have to check it. They also have to run a drug interaction check with all the rest of the medication, make sure there's no drug interaction, and make sure they're actually good and integrity, everything is good with them in order to add them to the drug list and be dispensed to the patient. Otherwise, the patient has to get the drugs from the hospital pharmacy. Drugs which are not to be administered shall be packaged, sealed. This had not be administered, packaged, sealed, and returned to adult member of the patient family for removal from the institutional facility. So we just give it to the family member, say we can't give those to your father, for example, and you have to take them home with you. Or these drugs shall be securely, or the nurse can be lock it up until the patient discharged, and you just give it to them while they're leave. Upon request, the board may waive these selections. The same thing here. 1140, 413 recalls. So the recall procedure shall be readily activated to ensure that all prescription drugs and devices and related materials included in the recall are returned to the pharmacy practice site for a proper dispositions. The pharmacist, so any drug has recalls, we usually like the pharmacy always like send like a letter to the patient, tell them to bring this drug back to the pharmacy because of that recent recall, or they get an email from the pharmacy, or the pharmacy called the patients. So to bring the prescription back. Absence of the pharmacy, 114014, institutions, pharmacy practice site. During such time as an institutional pharmacy practice site is closed, facility policy was approved by the pharmacist in charge shall provide the process for authorized personnel to obtain drugs necessary for the provision. This is important here. Provision of the patient care. This function may also accomplish when outlined as outlined in the after-hours drug provision. So the pharmacy charge will put a policy and procedures who can get access to the pharmacy while the pharmacy closed for the emergency in need. For this section, a pharmacist must be on call 24 hours. This is important here. So in the hospital pharmacy, there's a pharmacist has to be on call 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. That's every day. Usually like they rotate. After hours drug provisions, so when an institutional pharmacy practice site is closed, access to the prescription drug shall be locked cabinet shall be by locked cabinet, automated dispensing machine, or other enclosure. So if the pharmacy closed, you can use the locked cabinet, you can automated dispensing machine, constructed outside of the pharmacy practice site, and those can be used. To which only personnel is authorized by the pharmacy in charge. If there's somebody has to go in the pharmacy, it has to be authorized by the pharmacy in charge, may obtain access, and access should be sufficiently secured to deny entry to an authorized personnel by the force otherwise. So this practice site utilize automated dispensing device for after hours during prevention shall meet the requirement for the rule. The pharmacist in charge shall develop an inventory listing of those drugs to be included in such after hours storage shall ensure that such prescription drugs are available therein properly labeled. Such prescription drugs are pre-bagged in amount not exceed 72 hours. This is important. Our medication period, unless available in the commercially prepared packaging dictating multiple dose therapy, ophthalmic products, topical products, or other products. All prescription drugs therein are inventoried at least once a month. So these here, such prescriptions are bagged in amount not exceed 72 hours. Okay, and also all the prescription drugs are inventoried at least once a month in the hospital. A record shall be made at the after-hours storage location, including the following: the date and time of removal of the drug, the patient name and location, the name, strength, dosage form, and quantity of the prescription drug, the identification of the authorized person removing the drug. That's the actual person. So you get a drug from automated dispensing system. These things has to go to the record, the date and the time you remove the drug from the automated dispensing machine, the patient name you assign this drug to, the name of actual drug, the strength, dosage form, and quantity, and identification of the person who, like the nurse or the doctor, or BA, or pharmacist who got the prescription from the automated dispensing machine. So the automated machine is they record all that information each time you pull up a medication. The prescription order shall be verified by the pharmacist or designee in timely manner. Okay, so this is important here. So each time, like a prescriber put a prescription order has to be verified by in timely manner. So if it's not verified on time, it has to be within timely manner to get verified. The above record shall be used by authorized pharmacy personnel to replenish an after-hours storage location, and this record shall be kept at the institution pharmacy practice site so as to be relative of 2 years. So here also 2 years rule. So all these prescriptions shall be stored for 2 years. Policy and procedure shall be established to implement the requirement of this section. So access to the pharmacy practice site or institutional facility where any prescription drug is not available from the floor supplies, emergency kit, an approved distribution system for the facility, and such a prescription drug or device or related materials is required to treat the immediate need of the patient whose health would be otherwise jeopardized. Such a prescription drug device or related materials may be obtained from the pharmacy practice site in accordance with the requirement of this paragraph. Only authorized personnel accompanied by the security guard. So like the nurse, for example, go to security guard to the pharmacy and authorized or authorized employee. So it can be employee or security guard of the institution may have access to the pharmacy practice site and may remove required drug device related materials. Such a person shall be designated through policies of the facility and shall receive appropriate indications. So that person allowing the pharmacy shall be designed through policy and shall receive appropriate education and training on the proper methods of accessing and removal prescription drugs and record and procedures required prior to such a person being permitted to obtain access to the pharmacy practice site. Such education and training shall be conducted by the pharmacist in charge. So the pharmacist in charge, BIC, will educate that person who gonna give him an authorization to go to the pharmacy or it's closed to get an emergency medication that the patient needs, otherwise going to be harmed. Decide who the one will get the training for that person, the BIC. Okay, so who shall require at minimum the following record procedures? Removal of any prescription drug, device, related materials from the pharmacy practice site by authorized person must be recorded in a suitable form at the pharmacy practice site showing to any drug removed, you recorded in a suitable form showing the date and time removed the drug, patient identification. So same thing was like as you example taken from the automated dispensing machine. The name on drug dosage form and quantity of drug device, and signature of the outside personnel who guide the medications and sign in. The above record shall be maintained for 2 years. So call the records, all the records that's for this emergency use, get access to the pharmacy while the institutional pharmacy is closed. It needs to be maintained for 2 years at the pharmacy practice site electronically or in separate file or logbook. The medication or prescription order shall be verified by a pharmacist or authorized personnel. The quantity of drug removed shall not exceed the amount needed plus 1 dose until the pharmacy practice site reopen unless available in a commercially prepaid package dictating multiples dose therapy. So that's an important point. So when we say the prescription drugs are rebagged in an amount not exceeding 72 hours period, that's when you rebag in like an automated dispensing machine. But if you need access to, if you have to go inside the pharmacy with security guard and get a medication, you get to get medication, all the doses that you need, plus 1 more dose until the pharmacy practice site open. Okay. Alternative infusion pharmacy practice site. During such a time as an alternative infusion pharmacy practice site is closed, policies and procedures shall be established by the pharmacist in charge for the provision of prescription drug devices and related materials to the patients on a 24 hours per day, 7 days per week basis. A pharmacist must be on call during all the absences of the pharmacies not open. Automatic dispensing system. No prescriptions, drug, or device or related materials shall be distributed or issued by the use of any automated dispensing device unless the device and the method of operation have been found by the board to ensure the purity, potency, and integrity of the prescription drug or device related materials, and to protect the prescription drug or device or related materials from diversion. Okay. A pharmacist shall be designated. A pharmacist shall be designated to be accountable for this automatic dispensing system. Individuals authorized by the facility policies and the pharmacist in charge will stock these devices until and under the supervision of a pharmacist. If a pharmacist is not stocking the device, the pharmacist will work collaboratively with a healthcare professional to ensure that the appropriate controls and monitors are utilized to provide information that the drug dispensed were from the correct patient and the beverage is identified and resolved. All persons authorized to have access to these automatic devices shall have documentation that they have successfully completed the training program that teach them to perform the function they perform with the automated device. So everybody get access to the automatic dispensing machine. They should have a training how to use it. Automatic dispensing system shall be used only for the furnishing of drugs and devices and related materials or other products related to the care of the patient of that institution or facility. And at the time of removal of any drug or device or related materials from the device, it shall automatically make a record or be retained by the pharmacy for a minimum of 2 years. The date and time of removal of drug or device or related materials, the name, strength, dosage form, quantity of drugs or devices related materials, identification of the patient for whom the drug or device related materials was ordered, the identifications of the person authorized to remove the drug or devices or related materials from the device. The pharmacist in charge or designee is responsible for determining how access code or other methods of access to automated devices are assigned. The facility shall have policies and procedures approved by the pharmacist in charge. So the facility have a policy and procedures approved by the pharmacist in charge in coordination with a member of the nursing and medical staff for the point outlined in this section for automated dispensing devices. The facility may provide off-campus automatic dispensing system for care provided by the institution when the following conditions are met. Each pharmacy holding an active license with the Tennessee Board of Pharmacy and using automated dispensing system shall register each automated. So we can put them outside, but they have to register each one. Each automated dispensing system with the Tennessee Board of Pharmacy. Each pharmacy shall maintain a list of the physical locations. This is important. Each pharmacy shall maintain a list of the physical location of all automated dispensing machines in its system, whether such system are located in the same facility as a licensed pharmacy or not, and shall be responsible to pay a registration fee as defined in 1140-0110 for each automated dispensing system, which the licensed pharmacy is responsible for and which is located in an institution facility. The pharmacist in charge of the institutional pharmacy practice site shall be designated to be accountable for this automated dispensing system. The filling, stocking of all medications in the automated dispensing system shall be completed by the pharmacist or pharmacy technicians. So it can be a question who can fill up the automated dispensing system. It can be filled by the pharmacist, pharmacy intern, or pharmacy technician. So the filling and stocking of all medication in the automated dispensing system shall be completed by a pharmacist, pharmacy technician, or under the direct supervision of the pharmacist, except as provided below. If the automated dispensing system uses removable cartridges or container to hold drugs, the pre-package of the cartridge or container shall occur at the provider pharmacy unless provided by the FDA approved pre-package. The pre-packaged cartridges, unit dose, package, or container may be sent off campus site to be loaded into the machine by a person who is designated by the pharmacy charge provided. Pharmacist verify the cartridge or container has been properly filled and labeled. The individual cartridge, unit dose, packaging, or container and are transported to the off-campus site in a secure tamper-evident container. The automated dispensing system uses barcoding, microchip, or other technology to ensure that the container are accurately loaded in the automatic dispensing system. So that's barcoding, make sure to protect to prevent any medication errors, which is really important. So when you, pharmacy technician or internal pharmacist, fill up the automated system, they scan each medication and each barcode, make sure they're matching. All drugs to be stocked in the automated dispensing system shall be delivered to off-campus site by the institution pharmacy. So we can walk by the cart and deliver it outside of the campus site. A record of medication filled stocked in the automated dispensing system shall be maintained and shall include the identifications of the person filled the stocking, and checking for accuracy. All container of medication stored in the automated dispensing system shall be packaged and labeled in accordance with the federal and state laws and regulations. All aspects of handling controlled substance shall meet the requirement and state and federal law regulations. The automated dispensing system shall provide a mechanism for securing and accounting for medication removed from the subsequently returned to automated dispensing system, all in accordance with existing state or federal law. The automated dispensing system shall provide mechanism for securing and accounting for waste medications, discard medication in accordance with existing state and federal law. Nothing in this section shall be interpreted to authorize the stocking of controlled substance in automated dispensing system, except when they're done in a manner consistent with the federal controlled substance rules and regulations. The registration fee for each automated dispensing system shall be determined by the Tennessee Board of Pharmacy and listed in 1140-0110. The board shall maintain a list of all the registered automated dispensing system, including physical address, the number of devices located at each physical address, registrations for automated dispensing system must be renewed every 2 years. Okay. Emergency room, the rule of 1144-16. If prescription drug devices and related materials in the emergency room are to be dispensed rather than administered, the drugs, devices, related materials must be dispensed by the physician, emergency room nurse. So if the emergency room, if the medication needs to be administered by a physician or a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant, at the direction of the physician. If the physician in the emergency room does not personally dispense and administer, then the prescription drugs devices, related materials for outpatient use must be packaged in a container from the pharmacy practice site in an amount not exceed 12 hours period. So this is important. Okay, so let me repeat that again. So if the physician in an emergency room does not personally dispense, then the prescription drug, devices, and related materials for outpatient use must be packaged in containers from the pharmacy practice site in amount not exceeding 12 hours period, or was a product commercially prepared for multiple dose therapy, example, ophthalmic products, topical products, oral drops, in the smallest available package. These prescription drug devices or related materials shall be dispensed only after a medical or prescription order has been issued and recorded in the emergency room and shall be labeled with appropriate labeling. I will request the board may waive, so same thing, the board can waive these rules. 1140-0417, investigation of drugs. The pharmacist in charge in coordinations with institutional facility, medical and nursing staff, and if appropriate, the pharmaceutical manufacturer shall develop policies and procedures for the approval, management, and distributions and control investigational drug studies. The process shall ensure that such studies contain safeguard for the patient, for the institution, and for the scientific integrity of the study. Each patient or patient legal guardian must freely consent in writing to treatment with the drugs unless otherwise not required by the federal law. The pharmacist is responsible to the institutions and to the principal investigator for seeking that the procedure for control investigation drugs are developed and implemented when needed. When upon request, the board may waive selected portion of these requirements so long as any waiver granted is consistent with the board authority under Tennessee Code annotated. Monthly inspections, 1140-0418. The pharmacist in charge shall responsible for document monthly inspection. Okay, so monthly inspection for all drugs, devices, and related materials kept in nursing station, surgery, delivery rooms, emergency room, clinics, on any other area of the facility. Record of such an inspection shall be dated, signed, and maintained so as to be readily retrievable at the pharmacy practice site for at least 2 years. These inspections must assure the following. 1, test reagents, germicide, and disinfectant are stored separately from drugs, devices, and related materials. 2, external drugs, devices, and related materials are stored separately from internal drugs, devices, and related materials. 3, thermolabeled drugs are stored at the proper temperature. 4, drugs, devices, and related materials requiring special storage conditions to ensure their stability are properly stored. 5, there are no outdated or deteriorated drugs, devices, or related materials. 6, all drugs, devices, and related materials are properly labeled. 7, emergency drugs, devices, and related materials are stored in accordance with the Rule 1140-0410. Medicine cabinets, card storage area are accessible to authorized person only. 9, dispensing of controlled substances properly and adequately documented. 10, telephone numbers of the regional poison control center and other emergency assistance organization are posted. Metric, apothecaries, weight and measures, conversation tables, and charts are available. 12, adequate pharmaceutical references of drug administrations and that location are available. Our request, 13, our request, the board may waive any of those rules. And that's this section's here, end of that section, infusion and institutional practice pharmacy.